Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Donny van der Beek's agent is said to be working hard to find a new club for his client. Donny van der Beek was furious with Solskjaer as he was left on the bench in Man United's win over Villarreal. Donny van der Beek was spotted throwing chewing gum in the dugout. Donny van der Beek will try to force a January transfer away from Man United following his Villarreal meltdown. Van der Beek played no part against Everton at the weekend. He played the full 90 minutes against West Ham in the Carabao Cup and he put a very good performance out. He also started against Young Boys in the Champions League a few weeks ago, but Solskjaer taking him off at half time. And I heavily criticised Solskjaer for that because he was our best player in the first half of that game. There's many clubs in for Van der Beek. I think Juventus are interested in him, Inter Milan are interested in him, Everton are interested in him. Don't forget Solskjaer rejected Donny van der Beek's exit because it said that Everton were close to signing him on loan. The other week, Don Hutchinson told Donny van der Beek he must leave Man United to save his career, and Paul Ince came out and said that Van der Beek has absolutely no chance of staying at Man United. A few weeks ago, Van der Beek's agent did a lot of talking, and a few weeks ago, Van der Beek told Solskjaer his best position. Van der Beek reckons he'd be best served operating as a number 6 or as a number 8, and Van der Beek spoke about his Man United future in an exclusive interview with Rio Ferdinand. This season is Van der Beek's second full season at Man United. We got him for 40 million with add-ons included. You thought, for what we paid for him, he'd have had a lot more game time than he has done. Van der Beek's under contract with Man United till 2025, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. But like I've said, I haven't really had much of a perception on him at Man United, but in general, he's a good player. Now, Man United still fully committed to Solskjaer. And we are not planning to replace the club legend as manager. Despite a poor run of results, we are winless in our last 2 league games. Obviously we drew 1-1 with Everton at the weekend. Solskjaer got criticised for not starting Ronaldo against Everton. Solskjaer came out and said that he had no regrets over not starting Ronaldo. And we lost to Aston Villa 1-0 at Old Trafford, and that was the first time Aston Villa won at Old Trafford in 12 years. And we just beat Villarreal. You know, Ronaldo scored in the 95th minute of stoppage time, so Ronaldo saved us. If it wasn't for Ronaldo, we wouldn't have beaten Villarreal. But you know, Solskjaer is under pressure. Solskjaer has to win a trophy at Manchester United this season. He has not yet won a trophy as Man United manager. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. That's nowhere near good enough to our standards. Solskjaer did mention a few weeks ago that we must leave a legacy of silverware. You know, if Solskjaer does get sacked, he'll be the 4th permanent manager to be sacked since Ferguson, because we've already sacked 3 managers since Ferguson. You know, we sacked David Moyes after 10 months. Moyes is the worst manager we've ever had. We finished 7th under the David Moyes era. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years. You know, we won the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal. And we sacked Jose Mourinho after like 2.5 years. He won the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield in his first season. Mourinho also got us a 2nd place finish in his first season. But the reasons it didn't work out under Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the top players, bad disputes with the board, and in general the board weren't backing the signings that Mourinho wanted to recommend in. So Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson. If we do sack Solskjaer, who should come in to replace him? Now, obviously, there's some Manchester United fans that want Antonio Conte in. Antonio Conte is available because he left Inter Milan at the end of last season. Conte has got a good pedigree behind him. He won a lot of silverware in his home nation. And when he was in his first season at Chelsea, he won the Premier League. And it said earlier on this season that Conte would accept the Man United job if Solskjaer was to be sacked. Conte wants a winning project. He rejected Arsenal and he rejected Tottenham. But some United fans reckon if he came to Man United, he'd do a good job and he'd suit the strappings of the club. And he'd get us to that level where we should be. There's some United fans that want Zidane in. To be honest with you, I'd take Brendan Rodgers at Man United because, you know, Brendan Rodgers has transformed Leicester. And at Leicester so far, he's won the FA Cup and the Charity Shield. But Solskjaer has no proven pedigree as a manager. Obviously, before he was with us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club. He enjoyed 2 spells at Molde. And before then, he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was absolutely terrible. The reason he got sacked from Cardiff is because he got them relegated. He only enjoyed a short tenure at Cardiff. And a lot of United fans have got strong reservations about Solskjaer's decision making. Analysing the vast majority of the games Solskjaer's managed at Man United is being tactically naive. I said at the start of this season that this season was going to be massive for Solskjaer because he's got big expectations to exceed. This season is Solskjaer's 3rd full season as Man United manager. Obviously, in the summer, Solskjaer signed a new contract with the club until 2024. There's an option of a further year. So he signed a 3-year contract. We made a mistake giving him that new contract. But, like I say, I adore Solskjaer a lot because at the end of the day, he is a club legend. He enjoyed 11 years as a player for Man United. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. And Solskjaer's most iconic moment as a player was when he scored the winning goal in the Champions League final in 1999. He won the club the treble, and that's the club's greatest achievement. And like I've said before, that's the reason Solskjaer is still Man United manager, is because he's a legend of the club. Because we've enjoyed very bad periods under Ole, where he's been extremely close to getting sacked. Solskjaer has been in charge of Manchester United for almost 3 years. And reflecting now on his being with us, he has gained some managerial experience and he's learnt a few different things on the job, but there's still plenty of things he's got to learn because he's still a young coach. Solskjaer got appointed in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. He's been permanent Manchester United manager since March 2019. The reason he got the job permanently back in March 2019 was reflecting how well he did as the interim manager. Solskjaer has signed 14 players as Manchester United manager so far, and we've spent like 441 million under Solskjaer. In the summer of 2019, Ollie recommended Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January 2020, he recommended Bruno Fernandes in and Odi Nagalo in on loan. In the summer of 2020, he brought Edison Cavani in, Donny van der Beek, Alex Telles, Amad Diallo and Facundo Pellistri. And in this year's summer transfer window, he brought Tom Heaton in, Jadon Sancho, Rafael Varane and re-signed Cristiano Ronaldo after 12 years. And Solskjaer's enjoyed like 5 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager. Ollie's also got rid of a lot of players since he's come in. He's got rid of players permanently. He's also loaned quite a few players out. The players he's got rid of permanently, so we offloaded Daniel James in this year's summer transfer window. He's the only player we sold in this year's summer transfer window. That was disappointing from a Man United perspective. The reason we sold Daniel James is because we re-signed Ronaldo. Ollie also released Sergio Romero and Joe Pereira. Back in January, Ollie offloaded Odi Nagalo, Timothy Fosu-Mensah and Marcus Rojo. Solskjaer's let players like Young go, Valencia go, Darmian go, Smalling go, let Herrera go, let Angel Gomez go, let Fellaini go, Sanchez and Lukaku. So they're a lot of the players we've got rid of permanently since Ollie come in. And the players we loaned out in this year's summer transfer window, we loaned Ethan Laird out, Andres Pereira, Axel Tuanzebe, Brandon Williams, Tahith Chon and Facundo Pellistri. To be fair to Solskjaer, I like the way he develops the youth, seems to have a lot of trust in his young players. Ollie has more or less given everybody their chances to express themselves, including the young players, like he showed he would do when he got appointed in as Man United manager. In Solskjaer's first full season, he got us to 3 semi-finals and he got us a third place finish. In his second full season, which was last season, he got us to the Europa League final. That was his first major final as Man United manager. He also got us to the EFL Cup semi-final and the FA Cup quarter-final. Last season he got us a second place finish. So you can see that progress has been made under Ollie. But obviously what Ollie produced in his first full season and his second full season, he's looking to build on that this season. Obviously we know Solskjaer's ambition for this season, and that's to win the Premier League. And we're not going to win the Premier League under Ollie. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. That's 8 years ago now. But we should be winning the Premier League because we've got a title-winning squad. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer told his Man United squad that it's better than the 1999 treble-winning team that Ollie was part of. But despite me criticising Solskjaer a lot during his managerial tenure at Man United, he's our best manager since Ferguson. But Solskjaer's not going to replicate what Ferguson did at Man United. No manager is going to replicate what Ferguson did. obviously Ferguson endured what a 27-year tenure at Man United, so he was a long-serving manager. He won 30 odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles. So reflecting on that, he brought success to the club, but Fergie didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United. So that just indicates it takes some managers time to settle in. The only mistake Ferguson made was recommending David Moyes in when he retired, but the reason he did that is because they're both Scottish and, seem to have a lot of time for Moyes as well. But a lot of United fans predicted it was all going to go wrong when Ferguson retired, which obviously it has done. But there's no more excuses now for Ole. Solskjaer got very good backing in the summer transfer window. John Murtough backed him. John Murtough is our director of football, and we made the right decision getting a director of football in, because I did mention that's one of the structural changes we needed at the club. Darren Fletcher also backed Solskjaer, and we made the right decision recommending Darren Fletcher back in, because Darren Fletcher knows the club through thick and thin anyway. He endured 2 decades as a player for Man United. The Glazers surprisingly backed Solskjaer in the summer transfer window, but only because they'd been persuaded to, and Ed Woodward's also backed him. Woodward has said several times before that he'd back Solskjaer, and he assured that Solskjaer's job was safe even when we was enduring them bad periods under Ole. Woodward's leaving Man United. It got announced he was leaving back in April when that European Super League came into the equation. Woodward has had a 16-year association with the club. So there you go. And we spent around 141 million in this year's summer transfer window. Manchester United are going to sell players next year. Well, it said the other week that Solskjaer is willing to sell up to 7 players in January. That includes Martial and Van der Beek. We've definitely got to sell Martial because he's not good enough to represent the club. Martial played against Everton surprisingly, and he scored his first goal for Man United since February. Martial also played against West Ham in the Carabao Cup, but he struggled to make an impact in that game. Now, it said the other week that Man United are ready to sell Anthony Martial. Man United value Martial at 40 million. Martial has been a long-term target for Tottenham. It said he'd be open to joining another Premier League club. Atletico Madrid were in for him last summer. Barcelona are considering making a move for him next year. Martial, don't forget, rejected the chance to join Lyon on loan on deadline day in the summer transfer window. Before the start of the season, though, it said Solskjaer refuses to sell Martial as he remains part of his plans. Before the start of the season, Inter Milan wanted him to replace Lukaku. Martial has been at Man United since the Louis van Gaal era, so he's been for 6 years. He's got 3 years left on his contract. He's scored 79 goals in all competitions. We got Martial in a deal worth 58 million from Monaco back in 2015. Last season, Martial was out with a knee injury for a while. Solskjaer was the one that gave Martial that number 9 shirt. Lingard, we could be offloading him next year. Cavani, we'll offload him in January or at the end of the season. Now, it said not so long ago that Real Madrid want Cavani on loan in January. Real Madrid wanted Cavani in the summer transfer window, but the club failed to make a move happen. Real Madrid will wait until next summer for their main attacking targets, Mbappe and Haaland. Barcelona tried to get Cavani on deadline day in the summer transfer window, but obviously Cavani ended up staying at Man United. Fabrizio Romano poured cold water on the speculation. Barcelona could reignite their interest in January, but I can't say I want Cavani to leave because Cavani has made an impact since he's come in. Cavani played against Everton at the weekend. He started. He had a very good chance from a downward header, produced a good save from Jordan Pickford. Cavani came back from injury not so long ago. Cavani's got under a year left on his contract at Man United. Well, back in May, he signed a 1-year contract extension. Juan Mata, he'll leave next year. Juan Mata's contract expires next summer. Earlier on this year, Juan Mata signed a 1-year contract extension. Can't understand why we extended his contract for another year, because Juan Mata, doesn't really get in our team now, does he? And he's lost that yard of pace and he's aging up. But despite that, Juan Mata's had a good career at Man United. Mata's been with us for like 7.5 years. He's been a long-serving player, and we got him in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. At the first part of last season, Juan Mata rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Dalot, there's a good chance we're going to offload him next year. Dalot is our backup right back to Wan-Bissaka. Dalot played against Villarreal, put a very poor performance out, and he played against West Ham in the Carabao Cup. To be fair, he put a good performance out against West Ham in the Carabao Cup. Last season, Dalot had a loan spell with AC Milan, so reflecting on that, he gained some experience, and we got Dalot 3 years ago from Porto. We paid 19 million for him. Dalot's got a contract with Man United till 2023. We brought Dalot in under the Jose Mourinho era. Phil Jones, he'll leave next year. Phil Jones doesn't get in our 11, and he's always been inconsistent anyway. Jones was out of an injury for a while, but he's now back. Jones is the only outfield player that's still with us from the Ferguson era. This season is Jones' 11th season at Man United. Alex Telles, we should offload him next year because Telles doesn't really get in our team, does he? Telles played against Villarreal, put a good performance out. He scored a very good volley, which came from a Bruno Fernandes free kick. And Telles played against West Ham in the Carabao Cup and put a good performance out. The reason we brought Telles in was to provide competition for Luke Shaw, but since Telles has come in, we've seemed to get the best out of Luke Shaw. We got Telles in a deal worth 15.4 million. Telles was injured earlier on in the season, wasn't he? And Eric Bailly, there's a good chance we'll offload him next year. So there you go. And like I've said to you on my other videos, there's a lot of United fans that are having a go at Solskjaer for persistently selecting Fred and Scott McTominay in the centre midfield. But Solskjaer trusts Fred McTominay in Man United's midfield. That's why he keeps selecting them. Yesterday, I gave you the news on Paul Pogba. He said Man United set Paul Pogba deadline. He says Man United want Paul Pogba's future sorted by Christmas. As the Red Devils hope, Paul Pogba will sign a new contract worth £400,000 a week. Pogba receives like 290 grand a week at the moment on his current contract. Pogba's current contract at Man United expires next summer, Before the start of this season, Pogba rejected a new Man United contract. Earlier on this season, it said Pogba's very likely to leave Man United on a free next summer when his contract expires. Said not so long ago that Man United must sell Pogba in January to buy players. A few weeks ago, Pogba's agent Mino Raiola suggested that Pogba could return to Juventus from Man United on a free next summer. He did mention that cheering is still in Paul Pogba's heart. Pogba enjoyed 4 good years with Juventus before he rejoined Man United, but he said the other week that Juventus have no plans to re-sign Pogba next summer. But Pogba's had a long-running transfer saga. He's been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. Barcelona have been in for him. PSG obviously still want him. It said PSG are prepared to offer Pogba £510,000 a week in wages to prize him away from Man United. PSG couldn't get him in the summer transfer window because they got Lionel Messi. So there you go. A few weeks ago, Paul Pogba's brother Matthias Pogba came out and said that Paul Pogba's yet to decide on his future and his contract situation is up in the air. But I want Pogba to sign a new contract. Pogba's enjoyed a good start to the Premier League season. He's already got 7 assists. He produced good performances for Man United in the last couple of months of last season, but at one point last season he was out with a thigh injury for a while and he sustained a couple of ankle injuries at Man United. Sometimes we play Pogba on the left in more of an advanced role and sometimes we play him in a deeper role. We paid 89 million for Pogba, so at the moment he's our most expensive signing. And this is Pogba's 6th season at Man United since he rejoined. And he's won 3 trophies at the club so far. We had Pogba when he was a lot younger under the Ferguson era, but had to let him go due to limited appearances. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.